Rule 9. If old memories still upset you, write them down carefully and completely. But is yesterday finished with you? Imagine you undertook some truly terrible actions in the past. You betrayed or hurt people in a genuinely damaging manner. You damaged their reputation with gossip and innuendo. You took credit for their work. You robbed them materially or spiritually. You cheated on them. Or imagine, instead, that you have been the target of some such events. And let us also assume you have become wise enough to try to avoid repeating the experience. In both circumstances, as perpetrator or victim, the actual events and the associated memories evoke fear, guilt, and shame. Why? In the first case, you have betrayed yourself. You did not play the medium to long-term game properly and are suffering the consequences. You are not the sort of person other people choose to have around. You might not even be the sort of person you want to have around. In the second case, you were badly mistreated by someone else. In some real sense, however, it does not matter whether you were suffering because of self-betrayal or at the hands of others. What does matter is that you do not desire any recurrence. Now, if you recall the memory, or if it comes back unbidden, complete with terror, shame, and guilt, this means something specific. It means that you fell into a hole, a pit more accurately, or were pushed there, and that is not good. But what is worse is that you do not know why. Perhaps you trusted other people too easily. Perhaps you were too naive. Perhaps you were willfully blind. Perhaps you encountered genuine malevolence on the part of another or yourself, and that is the worst situation and the one most difficult to overcome. But at one level of analysis, whether you fell or were pushed makes little difference, not to the emotional systems that have emerged over the course of evolution and now serve to protect you. They care about one thing and one thing only, that you do not repeat a mistake. The alarms those systems activate are fear-based. That is too weak a phrase. Terror-based is more accurate, the kind of terror limited to neither time nor place. And all they care about is reminding you of the still extant danger. A part of reality, and a perilous part, has remained unmapped, low resolution, lacking sufficient detail, and so is a part of you. You are not sharp, alert, dangerous, wary, wise, or kind enough. Who knows? So that the terror systems protecting you are confident in your ability to wend your way successfully through the same maze if it once again manifests itself in front of you. Learn from the past, or repeat its horrors in imagination endlessly. Frequently, people do not so much repress the terrible things that happened in the past as refuse to think them through, pushing them out of their mind or occupying themselves with other activities. They have their reasons, and sometimes traumatized people appear literally unable to understand what befell them. It can be prohibitively difficult for abused children, for example, to generate a worldview philosophically sophisticated enough to span the full spectrum of human motivation. They simply cannot understand why someone might torment them physically or abuse them sexually. If they are young enough, it is likely that they do not even explicitly comprehend what is happening. Comprehending such matters is exceptionally challenging, even for adults. But in some unfortunate and arguably unjust sense, it does not matter. Refusal or inability both leave a geographic area in memory, unexplored, active, and rife with danger. It is a psychological truism that anything sufficiently threatening or harmful, once encountered, can never be forgotten if it has never been understood. To orient ourselves in the world, we need to know where we are and where we are going. Where we are. That concept must optimally include a full account of our experience of the world to date. If you do not know what roads you have traversed, it is difficult to calculate where you are. Where we are going. That is the projection of our ultimate ideal. By no means simply a question, say, of accomplishment, love, wealth, or power, but development of the character that makes all fortunate outcomes more likely and all unfortunate outcomes less likely. We map the world so that we can make the move from where we are, from point A, to where we are going, to point B. We use our map to guide our movement, and we encounter successes and obstacles along the way. The successes are both confidence-building and exhilarating. Not only are we moving toward our ultimate desire, we appear to be doing so properly, and are therefore not only moving ahead, but validating our map. The obstacles and failures are, by contrast, anxiety-provoking, depressing, and painful. They indicate our profound ignorance. They indicate that we do not understand with sufficient depth where we have been, where we are, or where we are going. They indicate that something we have built with great difficulty and wish above all to protect is flawed, to a degree both serious and not fully understood. We must recollect our experiences and derive from them their moral. Otherwise, we remain in the past, plagued by reminiscences, tormented by conscience, cynical for the loss of what might have been, unforgiving of ourselves, and unable to accept the challenges and tragedies facing us. We must recollect ourselves or suffer in direct proportion to our ignorance and avoidance. We must gather everything from the past that we avoided. We must rekindle every lost opportunity. We must repent for missing the mark, meditate on our errors, acquire now what we should have acquired then, and put ourselves back together. And I am not saying this is always possible. I have seen people so lost that there was not enough spark left to survive. The person in the present had been rendered too insignificant to confront in his or her current condition what was avoided even by a once healthier self in the past. And cynicism about the future rationalizes the avoidance and deception. That is hell, and there is no limit to its depth. The humility required to clamber out of such hell exists in precise proportion to the magnitude of the unrequited errors of the past. And that is enough to send a shudder of true terror down the spine of anyone even partly awakened. We are not allowed, it seems, to avoid the responsibility of actualizing potential. And if we have made a mistake in the past and left what could be unmanifest, regardless of the reason, then we pay the price for that in the inability to forget and in the emotion that constitutes the pangs of conscience for past misbehavior. Imagine that when you are very young, the map of the world you use to guide your immature self is correspondingly underdeveloped. Like a child's drawing of a house, always straight and centered, portraying only the front, always or close enough, with a door and two windows, always with a square for the outside wall and a triangle for the roof, always with a chimney and smoke, which is a surprise because smoking chimneys are not all that common now. The sun is shining irrepressibly, a circle with rays emanating from it. There are a few flowers, single lines with the schematic of a bloom at the top, and two leaves halfway up the stems. It is a very low-resolution representation of a house. It is more hieroglyph than drawing, more concept than sketch. It is something that represents the idea of house, or perhaps home, generically, like the words house or home themselves. However, it is almost always enough. The child who drew the picture knows it's a house, and the other children and the adults who see the picture know it is a house. The drawing does the trick. It fulfills its purpose. It is a good enough map. But all too often, appalling events occur within houses. These are not so easy to represent. Maybe the house has adults in it, parents, grandparents, uncles, or aunts, who say such things as, never, and I mean never, speak to anyone about what happens here. A few squares, a triangle, a smattering of flowers, and a benevolent solar orb offer only an inadequate representation of the horrors characterizing such a dwelling place. Maybe what is happening inside the house is beyond both tolerability and understanding. But how can what is terrifying be beyond understanding? How can trauma even exist without comprehension? Is not understanding in some sense a prerequisite to experience itself? These are all great mysteries. But everything is not experienced at the same level of conception. We have all been petrified by the unknown, even though that seems a contradiction in terms.